My name is Samarjit Shankar. When I was trying to decide what to narrate today, I couldn't help but think of the numerous stories and reflections I've heard from friends and neighbors in Randolph over the past almost 20 years. I especially have fond memories of my conversations with folks who are no longer with us. I will name a few, but by no means is this list exhaustive or in any particular order. I have a lot of Bear and Woodruff stories. Also, conversations with Becky Boothman, Gail Scott, Louis Cutter, John Usden, Bill Peffer, Jim and Harry Baldwin, Jack Stewart. As I reflect on how these folks described Randolph had molded their lives, I understand how Randolph has changed me over the past 2 decades. My initial experience in Randolph was as an escape from the stress of work in the city. However, over the years, the more time I spent in the forests here, and as I connected with neighbors and developed very special friendships, my approach to life changed. I started enjoying a much better work-life balance. There were 2 catalysts for this change. The first catalyst was in 2006 when John Usden and Bill May invited Tara and I to be worship leaders at Randolph Church. I was petrified. I started preparing 6 months in advance and took a universalist approach, reading books on world religions and trying to find common threads amongst them. The more I read, the more I realized that whether one believes in God or not, leave alone which God, the essence of one's life is to be a good human being in harmony with nature. Now, this might seem to be a gross oversimplification, but to be healthy in mind and body, and to be capable of loving and serving all beings, one has to be happy and content with their surroundings. And this is why I believe we are so fortunate to be able to experience the purity of nature around us. This line of thinking led me to include in my Randolph Church sermon what is now one of my favorite hymns taken from Isaiah 55:12. For you shall go out in joy and be led forth with peace. The mountains and the hills will burst into song before you, and all the trees of the field will clap their hands. My interpretation of this hymn, which John Usden concurred with as we talked about Zen Buddhism and Hinduism, is that these healing forests around us help us navigate life as it takes us through pleasure and pain, celebration and grief, joy and sorrow. I got the opportunity to apply this interpretation to my life in 2008, a year which brought the second catalyst of change in my life, the birth of a first child, followed by my mother's death 4 months later. My mother knew several of the Randolph folks I mentioned at the outset. She used to tell me how she was struck by the way nature surrounds us and how these mountains attract kindred spirits which make our community so unique. She enjoyed her walks and loved the sounds of the hermit thrush echoing in the woods. In 2008, we were stunned by news that she had an aggressive cancer in a very advanced stage. We drove up to Randolph for a few days in October. One evening, it was just she and I on a walk with Mount Adams in the backdrop. We didn't talk much because the silence echoed the realization this might be her last walk in her beloved Randolph, which it was. After her passing, walking in these healing forests gave me peace as I grieved. Today, I am happiest in Randolph when on a walk with the family or sharing the wonders of the woods with my daughters. Solitary snowshoe walks are therapeutic. Bird song and the gurgling of streams offer tranquility. I used to come to Randolph to unplug and lose myself. But now I realize that I also come here to find myself. Thank you.